guys? Welcome to another segment of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And I'm just kidding. It's just Legends Gaming bringing you another day tech profile video. Please don't exit the video because I tricked you. Anyways, it's been a little bit. I've meant to make this video a couple weeks ago. I just had a lot going on. My wife, we gave birth to our second daughter a couple weeks ago, and work's just been kind of crazy, so I'm just now finding the time to go over this with you. But this is the deck that we made from the Memory Snow booster box. It's just the one booster box, and so I'll go over what I decided to put into this deck, and what our kind of win-con strategy is, and just talk with you about it a little bit and see if it gives you any ideas. But just let us know down there in the comments what you think of this deck, what you think it could have needed, as opposed to what I will tell you what I think it needs. And so we will go from there. So without further ado, I will get into this for you. So I did decide to go red and blue with it. And so we will start off with our level 0 cards. We have the Banquet's Corner Beatrice. And when she's placed on the stage from your hand, she gets 1500 power until end of turn. And her climax combo is when this card's battled, the opponent becomes reversed. If not a bad day is in your climax area, you choose up to one Memory Snow character in your waiting room and returning it to your hand. Choose one of your characters, and that character gets +1 level until end of turn. So she's a good little fisher when you want to bring stuff back. Like I said, keep in mind this is just the one booster box, so we don't have a full playset of really anything that I thought was really good and necessary to go in here. So we just have the 2 of those. I feel like probably 3 would be good. Then we have Internet Literacy Amelia. When this card's placed on the stage from your hand, you choose one of your other Memory Snow characters, and that character gets +X power until end of turn, or X is to the number of other Memory Snow characters you have times 500. So she's a good little buffer for all your other characters. So we have 2 of her. I feel probably 3 or 4 would be good on her. Then we have Presented by Me, Subaru. His continuous is all of your other Memory Snow characters get an additional 500 power. So that's really good. And then his auto is when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, choose one of your characters, and that character gets +1 level until the end of turn. So as you can see, like, a couple of these cards are adding levels, which helps out a lot. But so we only have 2 of him. I'd probably say 3 would be a good one. Now I know I can't add like the maximum amount of everything that I want to put into this deck, but you get the idea. Next up, we have the Great Spirit Attack Puck. His auto is when this card is placed on the stage in your hand, choose one of your other Memory Snow characters, and that character gets +1500 power until end of turn. So he's a really good buffer, especially for 0. I mean, you get +1500 power. I would like to run 4 of him, but unfortunately I only have the 2. Then we have the Secret Mission Subaru. His continuous is if this card is in the middle position of your center stage, he gets +1 level and 2500 power. So that's not just your turn, that's your turn and your opponent's turn. So it's really strong early game, especially those first couple of turns before you even hit level 1. That's really good. So we have 2 of him. I'd probably run at least 3. So now we have Drunk Amelia. She's an assist. All of your characters from this card get +500 power. Her climax combo is when your opponent levels up, if first experience with alcohol is in your climax area, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to one Memory Snow character from among them, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room. Now that's up to 4 cards. You don't have to draw all 4 at once. You can take it one at a time. And if you find one that you just really want right then that'll lessen how many you're having to ditch into your waiting room. But it's a good searcher trying to get what you want into your hand. And I think 2 of her is just fine. Next we have Judge Roswell. His auto actually costs 1, but you put 1 card from your hand in your waiting room. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 1 Memory Snow character in your waiting room, return it to your hand, choose one of your other Memory Snow characters, and that character gets plus 1,000 power until the end of turn. So he's a good kind of revival, like previous cards, returning them from the waiting room to your hand, plus he adds that 1,000k buff onto one of your other characters. I actually think 2, possibly 3 of him would be alright. Next, we have Memory Snow, Ram, and Rim. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may reveal up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. If you revealed 1 or more cards, choose up to 1 Memory Snow character from among them, put it in your hand, put the rest into your waiting room, choose 1 card in your hand, and put it into your waiting room. Okay, so just another searcher, because like I said, like I'll explain our win con, but you're trying to bring out specific cards. So we do only have the 1. I'd probably run 2. And our next one is Abnormal Weather, Subaru. Called him a car. Anyways, he costs 1, but when this card becomes reversed in battle, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 1 Tranquil Reception in your waiting room and return it to your hand. And that's great, and I'm pretty positive that I'll put that card in here, and I will get to that here in a minute. I think 1 of him's okay, 2 maybe would be perfect. Alright, then we have Delightful Banquet Amelia. Its autos: when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there is a climax revealed among those cards, choose 1 of your characters and that character gets plus 1,500 power until end of turn. Also, her second auto for 1, and put 1 card from your hand in your waiting room. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 Memory Snow character, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So that's good because you get to pick any Memory Snow character from your deck and put it into your hand. And every card in this deck is a Memory Snow character. So I would like to run, 3 of her. Like I said, I can't run like everything. I know I'm like 2 of this one, 3 of this one, stuff like that. I know I can't add all those in here. Like I would take out certain ones for whenever I needed to. This next one is Unexpectedly Low Rating Ram. It's a Brainstorm for 1, and you rest mode this card. Flip over 4 cards from the top of your deck and put them in your waiting room. For each climax revealed among those cards, choose up to 1 Memory Snow character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So it's like previous ones, it's a good little revival just to get cards back. They only have the 1, like 2. So this is our last level 0 card. It's I Worked Hard Rim. It's continuous. If all of your characters are Memory Snow, she gets the following ability during your climax phase or attack phase. When you or your opponent's characters is placed onto the stage from the waiting room due to the respective player's card effects, all characters on that player's center stage get minus X power until end of turn. X is equal to the cost of that character placed on the stage times 2,000. So that's a good little way to prevent your opponent from trying to get those free plays out there to really drill in some damage, because it'll cause their cards to lose power. So that helps out a lot. And then her Brainstorm, which you got to pay 1 and rest of 2, but you flip over 4 from the top of your deck. And of course, these climax revealed, you get to search your deck for up to 1 Memory Snow character, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand. So it's got a steep cost, but it's a search your deck for any Memory Snow. So that's what makes that card so good. And I'd probably like to run at least 2 of her. So here is the start of our level 1s. It's expectedly cold Beatrice. Her continues as all of your other memory snow characters get plus 500. Not the ones in front of it or anything like that. It's all your other ones. In her act, you pay 2 and rest on this card. You put the top card of your clock into your waiting room. So you're essentially gaining life because you're taking away a damage that was dealt to you previously. So that really helps out a lot. And I'd probably like to run at least 2 of hers. Next we have Earnest Admiration Realm. She's a backup. And when you use this card's backup, if you have a memory stone character, you choose one of your characters in battle. And then that character gets an additional 1,000 power until end of turn. Her backup gives 1,000 to the card that's being attacked. So it's great to have those backup cards, especially if you've got ones that you don't want to lose. Unfortunately, we do only have the one backup, so that's kind of sad. At least her, anyway. Then we have Releasing Mana Puck. His auto is you put him into your waiting room when your other memory stone character is frontal attacked. You put him in your waiting room, then you choose one of your characters in battle, and that character gets plus 2,500 until the end of turn. So he's kind of like a backup. The only thing is, like, you have to have him on board to be able to activate his auto. But he gives an additional 2,500 power. And we do have 2 of him. I think 2's actually relatively good for that. Alright, then we have Precious Alcohol Ram. Her auto is when you use this card's backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a memory stone character, put it in your hand. Choose one card in your hand, put it in your waiting room. So it's a good little grab and go for the top card. Just trying to get more into your hand. And she adds 2,000 power for her backup. And we have 2 of her. I'd like to have like a 2-2 split of her and the previous backup as well. Then we have Winter Clothing Realm. She gets plus 500 power for all of your other memory stone characters. So she's really good and can be high attack power, especially level 1 for 0 cost. I think 2 of hers pretty good. Especially for, like, this deck did really well. We did some playtesting and it actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting. Then we have Harsher Than Usual Realm. If all of your other characters are memory snow, this card gets plus 1,000. So it's good. Make sure 5,000. And then when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, choose one of your other memory snow characters, and that character gets plus 1,500 power until end of turn. So in case you can't tell, like, a lot of these cards are like really aggro. Well, we have 2 of her, and I'd like to. I think 2's pretty good. I'd probably like to run 3. Now we're starting to get into the level 2s. We have Madly in Love with Bubby Beatrice. Her first auto is when your other memory snow character attacks, this card gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. She has an encore. If she's reversed, you can put one memory snow character from your hand into your waiting room and switch her back to rest mode. So it's a good way to save her. She gets defeated. We do only have the one. I'd like to. Then we have Speaking in Riddles Puck. This one gets plus 1,000 power for each of your other memory snow characters. So that's really good. He costs 2 and he's level 2, but that's still really good. And he also has the encore as well to be able to save him from getting defeated. I'd like to run 2 of him. Then we have Memory Snow Roswell. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, choose up to 2 Magnificent Sybil Wall sculpture in your waiting room and put them at the bottom of your deck in any order. But he has the fusion. Now this is one of your key cards for the win con. Unfortunately, we only do have the 1, and I'd like at least 2 to 3 possibly. And as you can't tell, he is level 2, 1 cost. Yes, he's only got 1,500 power, but this is the reason why. His fusion is you put one presented by me Subaru from your stage face up underneath this card as a marker. You search your deck for up to one magnificent Subaru sculpture, put it on this card's stage position, and put this card and all markers underneath this card face up in any order underneath that sculpture as markers and shuffle your deck. I will get to that card here in just a minute because he's a big part of our win con, and I will explain to you why. And this is that Tranquil Reception that one of our level 0 cards helps us get earlier. But you choose one of your opponent's characters, and that character gets minus 2,000 power until the end of turn. And it is a level 2, but it is a 0 cost. So if they've got one that you are trying to neg out real quick, then it's really good. Okay. So we do have 2 of those. I think 2 is a pretty good number on that one. And then we have the one who did the work, Rim. She's a level 2 for 1, and she's a big part of our win con strategy as well with this deck. Her continuous is all your other magnificent Subaru sculptures get plus 1,000 power. That is fantastic. Her assist is all your other characters in front of this card get plus X power, and X is equal to that character's level times 500. So we have 2 of her, and that's really good. I'd like to try to do 3, but I'm going to pull that one out so that I can further explain the win con here in just a moment. Then we have Ram being a wet blanket. When this card is placed on the stage in your hand, look at the top card of your deck and put it on top of your deck or in your waiting room. It's a good little flip through cycler card. And when this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle's opponent is level 2 or lower, you may reverse that character as well. So if it's level 2 or lower and they kill this card, then you get to kill their card as well. So the cards with effects like that are really great to have, because then it makes your opponent really reluctant on wanting to attack and get rid of their cards. So this is the start of our level 3s. We have the Super Artist Ram. And if you have another one of those sculptures, she gets plus 2,000 power, so it makes her 11. But when you pay 1, when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one combination of Ideal's Rim in your waiting room and put it on any position of your stage, which is her. Her climax combo for 1 when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed. If Expectant gazes in your climax area and you have 4 or more other Memory Snow characters, you may pay the cost. If you do, you deal 3 damage to your opponent. And of course, the damage may be canceled. But it's like an extra attack just right there, 3 damage. And it's really great to have. She is also part of our win con. If you can get her out there instead of getting the sculptures. But I'd like to run, I think 1 to 2 is fine. Then there's that combination of Ideal's Ram. When this card is placed on the stage in your hand, or by the auto effect of Super Artist Ram, look at up to X cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 card among them, put it in your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room. And X is equal to the number of Memory Snow characters that you have. So it's another great searcher card. Her other auto for 1, this ability activates up to 1 time per turn. When damage dealt by this card is canceled, if you have another magnificent Subaru sculpture, you may pay the cost. If you do, you deal 1 damage to your opponent and it may be canceled. But just for having that sculpture out there, if the damage is canceled from this card's attack, you're dealing another 1. So pairing that up with the Super Artist and her, that's 4 in 1 turn if hers gets canceled. But then on to the Magnificent Subaru sculpture. I'll tell you why this one's so great. He is a level 3 for 2 costs. And his first continuous is he can attack. I know a lot of people are like, well, what good is he if he can't attack? And I'm about to explain that why. His second one, if all of your characters are Memory Snow, this card gets plus 1,000 power and cannot be chosen by your opponent's effects. So he's there. Then his auto is when this card is placed on the stage in your hand or by the effect of fusion, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room. So he's removing another damage as well. And his last auto is at the beginning of your encore step. if this card is on your center stage and this card is right up, reveal the top card of your deck, put it into your stock, and deal X damage to your opponent. X is equal to the total number of trigger icons of the revealed card plus 2, and damage may be canceled. And then we have the Memory Stone Beatrice. All of your other Memory Stone characters get plus 1500. When she's placed on the stage of your hand, you may put the top card of your clock in your waiting room, and you can rest on this card, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, and put them on the top of your deck in any order. So let me further get in. After I finish these climax cards, I will further explain the win con. So we do have we ran 2 of the Expectant Gazes, which they give your characters plus 1,000 power and a soul, but when they trigger, you choose one character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. Just more ways to get stuff back. Then we ran Not a Bad Day. It's got 2 triggers on it, so that's adding 2 more damage if you flip this card over for your trigger check. And when it's placed in your climax area from your hand, you choose up to 1 card in your waiting room, put it into your stock, and all of your characters get plus 1 soul until end of turn. So it helps feed your stock so that you can pay for some of those higher cost cards. Then, of course, the first experience with alcohol, it's also got the dual trigger icons, but all of your characters get plus 2 soul. So that one's really good, especially kind of early when you're trying to hurry up and get them to that 4th level just as quick as possible. Then we have It's All Subaru's Fault. This one's the same one as the first one. All your characters get plus 1,000 power, 1 soul. But when this one triggers, you may choose 1 climax in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So just kind of cycle so that you actually really get to use them. But further on into our win con, so this is the card, the Memory Stone Roswell, that's got that fusion that helps to bring out the sculpture cards. Now, like I said, it can attack, but here's the thing. Like I said before, all of your other characters are Memory Stone. So it's getting a plus 1,000 power, so that makes it 11,000 already. Then, if you happen to have both of these sitting on your back line, they both give that sculpture an additional 1,000 power, making them 13,000. And especially if you've got him dead right in the middle of your center stage, all characters in front of this card get X power, and X is equal to that character's level times 500. So he's a level 3. So each one of these is giving him an additional 1,500, making him a 16,000 power card. And all he's doing is just sitting there. And as long as he's face up, at the beginning of your encore step, you reveal the top card of your deck, put it in your stock, and then however many trigger icons the card's got, you add 2 to it, and then that's how much damage you're dealing with it. So we try to aim for these 2 in our back step, this one dead center right in the middle, and then these 2 fighting on the front lines on both sides of it as well. Because if you got the sculpture, she gets plus another 2,000 power. And then if you've got the Expectant Gazes in your climax area and you have 4 more other Memory Stone characters, you can deal 3 more damage to your opponent just from the effect. You have to pay 1, and your opponent has to become reversed. But they're going to, man. I mean, you get a lot of attack power, especially since these would also be feeding another 1,500 apiece to both of these cards. And then, like I said, if when damage dealt by this card is canceled, if you have the sculpture, you may pay 1 and deal another damage. So it's just whittling your opponent down really fast. So anyways, guys, let us know down there in the comments what you thought about this deck. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And just let us know what you think we could have added, what you liked about this deck. And So anyways, so we will see you next time, guys.